Today, it's also the day where we fall in love with the standalones. We get a little bit away from trilogies, from big series, and we embrace one book long stories. And we're gonna do it differently because we're gonna be separating 16 different recommendations based on moods. Dark, fairy tale, sad, and epic part 2. And starting strong with the dark category here, we will see standalones that are a little bit creepy, that will have surely a death component within those stories, but overall are very intriguing. And we will start with Winterwood, a story that has this forest setting and it's all about witches. Winterwood tells the story of a girl Nora who is a witch. She and her family of witches are the only ones able to get into this cursed forest that surrounds their town. And one day, Nora gets into this forest and what she finds will surprise her forever because there's a boy inside who doesn't remember anything that happens, and you know, she will need to take care of him. I really liked it, not only because it's such a good blend between a character and a plot-driven story, being 2 points of view, but also, you know, moving really fast, but because we will get to know different powers of this family of witches and the story will unfold from there. And we continue with Middlegame, a story about alchemy, about physics, about quantum entanglement, and you know, about gods and their power. It's going to be pretty character driven, and mainly it's going to talk about the relationship between these two siblings and how they evolve in this world. And the story kicks off with this alchemist really wanting to find this impossible city, and in order to do so he will be creating different pairs of siblings. One of those are the ones that we will be following. One of them it's a prodigy with math and the other one is a prodigy with wood. But you know, we'll pretty much see different creatures, there's going to be a little bit of killing, and it's savage at some points, but really recommend. We continue with Never Die, this story that almost reads as a video game. It's gonna be a quest and we will have a lot of folklore and a shinigami involved. The chapters also are really quick, they're almost like 2 pages long. And Never Die will tell the story of this boy that has this mission of killing the emperor, and in order to do so it seems that he has broke a deal with the shinigami, and so the shinigami has granted this child the power to rise people from the dead and therefore to be linked with him in this quest of killing the emperor. Along the way then we will be meeting these different characters that will join this amazing quest, and we conclude with the Southern's Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. This is a story that I consumed in a day. It will obviously gonna be a paranormal story because we will have vampires, and honestly there are some scenes that are
creepy and that I cannot forget.
So if you scare easily, there's one scene specifically that you will have trouble, but beyond that, it's amazing. And the story will kick off with our girl being the head of the family. And the main thing that our girl likes is to have this book club with her friends in the neighborhood where they read. And one day, a mystery man moves into their neighbor and suddenly children start to disappear. And so this group of women will start figuring out what is happening. It's a blend of horror, but also almost humor. Let me know down below in the comments. Which somewhat dark, almost spooky books would you recommend? And then we move to the next category, which are book recommendations that can perfectly be fairy tales. And all of these stories will have an incredible world building. So it's going to be a very atmospheric read. And we will start with a Stardust, potentially the most happy, positive fairy tale recommendation of them all. It's a very short story. It's very uplifting in terms of tones. It's gonna be a grown-up story, a little bit of a chosen one, and also a quest. So what else can you ask for? And Stardust will tell the story of our main guy, Tristan. He is a little bit of a misfit, but he's deeply in love with this very mean girl who one day sets him on this path on trying to achieve an impossible goal, and if he makes it, then she will agree to marry him. And while doing this impossible task, he will discover himself, he will cross the wall that separates his world to another one. So it's a portal fantasy, and in this new world he will see that magic exists. And what will be his surprise when he will learn that it's not only him chasing this goal, but there are also different witches and also different princes. And we change gears to a somewhat less happy read, but also a very atmospheric one with the Kingdom of Bag. The events of this book are based on somewhat real events. It's going to be a grown-up story, a little bit of a quest, but mainly it's going to be a deep dive between the relationship between siblings, and how they grow up. And the Kingdom of Back tells the story of Nannerl Mozart, so the sister of Amadeus Mozart. And so we will see how she is also very talented, but how she's not able to play as much as he does because she is a woman. The thing is, as they spent a lot of time outside of their homes, they started to craft this imaginary world called the Kingdom of Back. This happened in the reality. These two brothers actually created this world. And so in this book, the limits between what's real and what's the imagination are going to be blurred a little bit, and we will see our characters getting into this Kingdom of Back, where there's going to be this fae, there's going to be this castle. Then we have Spinning Silver, a story that it's all about a wintry setting. It's very character driven, and we will also see these otherworldly creatures that live in the forest, that live in the winter, and how they meddle with humans. And Spinning Silver will tell the story of three girls, but mainly we will follow one of them as she lives in a tremendous poverty, and she will need to step up and take a little bit of the responsibilities of their family. And so soon she gets this reputation of being able to turn everything into gold. And one day the king of these foresty, wintry creatures come calling her and setting her on an impossible mission, and the story will unfold from there. It's a story that it's almost beautiful but also a little bit dark. The world building though, and how you feel that you are in a story, it's unreal. And last but not least in this category, we have Nettle Bone, a very short standalone that is also going to be a quest. There's going to be a very soft magic system based on different witches having powers mainly. And Nettle Bone tells the story of a girl who is the third sister to this throne, that it's always in constant peril of war. The kings of this land have secured an alliance with the neighbor kingdom in order to prevent war, but it seems that this alliance is not as good as it can be because the prince is really treating badly her sister. So our girl will embark herself in this impossible mission of trying to save her sister without triggering a war. And we will also have this animal companion that I absolutely loved and I really recommend. Do you have any book in mind that will fall under this category? If so, let me know down below. If not, let me know if any of these had made sense for you down below in the comments. And we changed to a category that I love and hate in equal parts, which is sad. And we of course will start with the Song of Achilles. This is a coming of age, very character-driven story that will mainly follow one point of view. We will have a lot of forbidden love, a lot of fate, it's calling me, and a lot of beautiful prose within this book. This book tells the story of Achilles, but told under the point of view of Patroclus. And we will see them both growing up, seeing how Achilles will start to embrace his destiny and how Patroclus is also playing a very important role here. How the love, the devotion that they both feel between themselves will fill your heart, eventually will make you cry because yes. And we continue with Kaikeyi, a new release of this year that I absolutely loved. It's one of my favorite books of this year so far, and it's actually an Indian retelling. It's the story of what happened if a certain mythology will be told under the point of view of the evil character. We will also have in this book different scenes, different moments of the life of the character, so it's going to be very character driven. It's almost a biography. It's a story about love, about power, about the role of the woman, the bonds that are created. Honestly, in terms of magic, there's going to be just a hint, just a spark. And in this story, we will be following Kaikeyi, this girl that really believes in magic, in mythology, but that it's constantly let down by her family and overall just kind of like what's the role of woman. And we will see then how she will get married to this other kingdom and how she will start to play an important role in this new realm, get to know a little bit of her powers, a little bit of the politics. Then we have Under the Whispering Door by T.J. Klune. This is not a sad story in itself, but it's a story that the theme, it's pretty sad, and there were some moments in which I honestly felt sad. And Under the Whispering Door will kick off with our main character dying, and then this Reaper comes to seek his soul and guiding him not to the overworld but to this middle place where the souls are supposed to go to make peace with themselves before fading away. And what we will see is that middle place, it's in this tea shop that it's in the outskirts of this town. It's a lovely place, and we will see the different characters are already there. There's this grandpa, this dog, and we will mainly see this man that it's the one that helps people advance to the next life. And last in this category, we will have the Paper Managerie by Ken Liu. This is a compilation of different short stories that will explore different topics, and a lot of them will make you reflect, some of them will make you cry. It will explore metaphysics stuff, but also different worlds, the relationship. It's honestly beautiful. Let me know down below, do you know any sad standalones that you really recommend, or books that not necessarily sad, but you know, just leave you with that sense of I cannot wait to chat afterwards in the comments. And last but not least, we have Epic Part 2, because we've already done Epic, but honestly, there's so many amazing Epic books, I could not leave them. And we will start with Elantris by Brandon Sanderson. This was my first Brandon Sanderson book and will forever have a special place in my heart just for that, because I loved it so much. Honestly, it's very low in fantasy, so very good if you are planning to get into the genre. And Elantris tells the story of this realm where people can suddenly get this terrible sickness that converts people almost into zombies. And so when people get this sickness, they get expelled into the city called Elantris. And the story will follow three main points of view. First, the story will kick off with the prince of this land getting the sickness and getting expelled. Second, it's going to be this woman that was supposed to be marrying this prince, and that now it's kind of like in the middle of this terrible political intrigue, and she will need to navigate it. Third, we'll have this religious figure that will come also into this land, and he will try to convert people to this new religion because otherwise a terrible war happened. And we continue with Guns of the Dawn, which it's my current favorite, so please give it a try. Has been pitched, and I completely agree with the assessment, as the perfect blend between a Jane Austen character within a military setting. It's very character driven, but the character, it's witty, it's fantastic. And this book will tell the story of this land that it's starting this terrible war. It seems that this neighbor kingdom is starting to conquer the different lands, and you know, people will start to get drafted to go to war. First, it's just the men, but soon the women will get there. And so our main girl will also need to see herself in this new setting, and she will play a very important role within this war. The story will have two very different parts. The first one, it's kind of like a little bit into the past, and we will get to see the land a little bit. We will get to see all of these walls, this very Jane Austen society, and really the characters and a little bit of the romantic interest. And then the second part, it's more about the war. And now we go back again to Brandon Sanderson with The Emperor's Soul. This is a very short story, a little bit more than 100 pages only, but it's crafted in such an incredible way that you will get to know the characters, the magic, it's outstanding. It has an incredible ending. And this story will kick off with our main girl, Shay, in jail, because she has this very rare talent, kind of magic, that it's called forging. She is able to forge elements, to inscribe them, to seal them, and then change them. She can revert those elements to a different scenario, and she will be tasked with an almost impossible mission because the emperor has been very gravely injured and he does not have a soul anymore. So she will need to put the different pieces together and create a soul for this emperor. Last but not least, another favorite of mine that goes a little bit away from fantasy and gets into the sci-fi completely with Project Hail Mary. An incredible blend between a character and a plot-driven story. There's going to be a little bit of flashbacks, which might not be the cup of tea for a lot of people, but I thought that in this book was done incredibly well. Typically also with this author, there's an incredible sense of humor, and overall it's kind of like a very positive writing style. And Project Hail Mary will kick off with our main character waking up in space and he not knowing why is he there. He does not remember anything about his mission, so there's going to be a lot of coming back on remembering what was his mission and then moving forward to go and do this incredible quest that will save humanity. There's this other character that appears in this book that was outstandingly good and I enjoyed and loved beyond a lot of stuff, so really picked it up. Let me know down below if there's any other epic standalone that you absolutely love. And that was it for today. I really hope you liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like this one, click that subscription button. If you want to see more standalone recommendations with different moods, I have a link down below in the description in the original video. And definitely let me know down below in the comments so that I can keep going. And I really hope to see you soon. Happy reading!